Good morning. So I'm heading to town because I'm getting the ingredients that I need to make my own homemade black bean corn salsa. All right, here's my list. We're gonna go grab the stuff I need to get my corn salsa done. I have the tomatoes, I have the corn, I just don't have the green peppers. Don't I have tomatoes? I do have tomatoes, yeah. And I have the onions too. So I got a lot of this already. I need to get that stuff. All right, so I picked up all of my fresh ingredients. I got 4 times 3, 12 green peppers, 4 bunches of onions, scallions. I don't know if that's the same. Cilantro, my jalapeno peppers. My peppers, these green peppers, are only 68 cents a piece. Garlic, limes, my apple cider vinegar, and then Noah snuck this in my cart. And then Izzy snuck this in my cart. What in the world, these kids? Okay, so now it's time to get the beans and spices. But I did pick up these pumpkin spice Oreos because every year me and Noah like to make deep fried Oreos. So we're gonna make seasonal fall pumpkin spice deep fried Oreos. And then now I got all my black beans, so I have all the ingredients I need to make my salsa. I got everything that I needed from the grocery store. I have all my fresh vegetables set out, so I'm gonna get those all ready to go. So this is actually gonna take me a couple days. I like to get all the ingredients together in a pot, and I like to put it in the fridge overnight so those spices kind of, get all nice. So first thing we're gonna do is get all these fresh veggies chopped up. Then we're gonna start putting it into my I have this huge pot. We're gonna put it into the pot, soak it overnight, and then tomorrow I'm gonna can it. And I'm not gonna can all of the corn into the corn salsa. I'm also just gonna can some regular corn because I like to add it to soups, my cornbread casserole, just different things I like to do with our meals. And we really don't eat a lot of corn, but I'll add them to, like I said, soups, maybe a shepherd's pie, just different things where it'll call for peas or corn or something. So let's get going on this. For 2.5 pounds of tomatoes, which is about 4 1/4 cups. So I have my bowl that I got from Pampered Chef, and it tells me how many cups. And I'm going to do more than one. I'm probably going to do 4 batches. So I'm gonna need about 16, 17 cups total. So I got my garden vegetables. They're not perfect, but I can cut around some of them. My husband's gonna be like, where are all my tomatoes? Because for a snack, he likes to come home and he likes to put some mayonnaise on a plate, and he salt and peppers the tomatoes, and then he eats them with mayonnaise just right out of the garden. He's been doing that forever. Now, personally, I love tomatoes too, but I just put salt on mine. I actually don't put mayonnaise on it. I'll have a sandwich, a wonderful sandwich with mayonnaise and tomatoes or mayonnaise, tomatoes, lettuce, lunch meat and cheese, but I haven't really adopted the mayonnaise, So all I'm gonna do is just dice up these tomatoes. Now, if you have a food processor, you could probably use a food processor and then just pulse it. You don't want to make it a puree because you want the chunkiness to it, right? Because it's like a salsa. So you can do that too if you want. I don't feel like grabbing everything out right now, and I just want to do the old-fashioned way. I have time, the house is quiet, everybody's busy doing things, and it's just a really nice day. The sun just came out, which is beautiful, just so nice. So I'm just going to continue cutting these tomatoes, and when I get done, I will come back, and then I think next we're going to work on the green peppers. I got my tomatoes all done. Look at that. So beautiful. It actually took that whole bowl that I had cut up, or that I had washed. And then, so I need 2, so one batch is 2 green peppers. So I have 8 green peppers. And I have to tell you, my husband doesn't like green peppers. And he told me that when we got married, there were certain things I couldn't have in the fridge. One was skim milk, because he's a dairy farmer and they used to get milk right out of the milk tank. And so he said I couldn't have, skim milk, which I came from a family that we had skim milk. And then he also told me that I had to use real butter, and I grew up on margarine, So that was very hard for me. So I had to have real butter. These are some of the things that he asked. I mean, I guess he didn't like say, oh, you do it. And the other thing was green peppers. Now, I'm not a green pepper fan, but I do like them in some, you know, like Italian type dishes. And he can't even stand the smell of it. Like, and so if I'm like, you know, like so every summer when I make my salsas or do things like that, I need green peppers. And I did try and grow my green peppers, but they didn't mature. So luckily I hit the jackpot on green peppers. And I'll have green peppers in the refrigerator and he's like, he'll open the fridge. Because, you know, green peppers are very flamboyant. Is that the word? Like they're really strong. And maybe it's not flamboyant. You guys are like, wow. Anyway, they have a very strong smell to them. And if I have one in there, he's like, he can't even stand the smell of green peppers. But it's really weird though, because he really likes salsa. And so I said to him, I said, well, I'm going to make my corn, I can't talk, my black bean corn salsa. I've never made this before. This is the first time. So I kind of did some studying and just kind of looked at other recipes and what they do. And then I did like I normally do, just got inspiration, added my own flavors, things like that. But I said, so it does call for green peppers, so I won't do it. He goes, no, I'm fine if they're in a salsa. I just don't like to eat them. Like he doesn't like them in spaghetti. He doesn't like me to put them in meat dishes. But he gave me the okay that I can do green peppers in this salsa. So I know sometimes it calls for red peppers, but this one, I mean, all the corn salsa recipes I've seen, they all used green peppers. So now I'm going to chop up all the green peppers, add them to the pot. Then I think the next thing we're gonna do, so I have a light that keeps blinking on and off, and all my kids come home and they keep saying, Mom, your light keeps flickering off, but I can't get one of the boys to do it. Come on, boys. So I'll get these all chopped up, and then when we come back, I will, I think I'm gonna do the green onions, because it calls for, I wrote my recipe down. It calls for green onions and regular onions. And I'm thinking it must just be the tops. They want just the tops. So I think we'll do the onions next and add them to the pot. I need 1/2 cup of green onions, and I did 1 bunch, and it actually was 1 cup. So 1 bunch of green onions equals 1 cup. I have 4 cups. I actually only need, let's see, if I'm doing 4, I actually only need 4 cups, which would be just 2 of these. But I think I'm gonna nix the regular onions because the bottom of these are really potent, like it's kind of like a real onion. And so I think I'm gonna use the whole thing, not just the green part, and I'm gonna nix the onion. So it does call for 1 onion, which I'll still put that in the recipe, but I'm going to just do the green onions and I'm gonna use the tops, and I'm going to use the whole, like the bottom too. So yeah, so it would have been 1/2 cup of green onions or scallions, and then 1/2 cup of, or 1 onion, probably 1 medium onion, which is probably like 1/2 cup, depending on the size of your onion. So I'm just going to count this as both. And so I'm gonna get these going. I got the peppers in, it looks really beautiful. You know, I like the smell of green peppers. I might not be crazy about the green peppers, but I do love the smell of them. My husband, like I said earlier, doesn't like the smell of them, but I don't know, it just smells fresh to me. It just smells really fresh. But even these green onions, holy cow, man, they're just like so potent. All right, I'm gonna finish doing the onions, and then next up is gonna be cilantro. I love cilantro. You know, I didn't used to like cilantro. I would not eat anything that had the cilantro in it, but since my daughter started making all of her carnitas and her different Mexican dishes, I love cilantro and I love the smell of it. The more cilantro, the better, especially in guacamole. Yummy. All right, so I'm gonna continue doing this. I'll come back. And I do have jalapeno peppers to do, but I'm kind of like putting it off. So I'll finish these and we'll come back and we'll do the cilantro so I can give my eyes a break before I do the jalapenos. So I'm gonna add the corn and then the black beans. Is 1 cup of corn and then 1 can of black beans. I'm actually gonna do 6 cups of corn and 6 cans of black beans because I want more in there. I want like the corn and the black beans to be like the center of it and not the other veggies. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do just a couple more cups more than normal. All right, there's 2. So me and my kids, we cut all this corn and we shucked it. And the rest of my corn, I'm just gonna be canning. I think that's 6. I think I'll do 1 more because I do want lots of corn. There we go. Actually, I'm gonna double it. I'm gonna do 8. Now I'm gonna add the black beans. I really, really like black beans, and I'm gonna keep the juices in them. And I might do 8 too. I did 8 of the corn. I think I'm gonna do 8 cans of the black beans. But I really like black beans. All right. And this little spatula I have is actually from Pampered Chef, and it's so nice. There's different sizes. And I like my small ones because they can get into smaller areas that my bigger ones can't. All right, so I got a couple more to go. And then I'm gonna go back to those, to the jalapeno peppers. And then I have the cilantro to add. And then we're gonna add all the spices, the cider vinegar, and then just put it back in the fridge till tomorrow. And then I'm gonna can it, and then also can just my regular corn. As I'm stirring it together, if I see that it's mostly like peppers and stuff, I might add more corn and black beans to it. I have 1 bunch of cilantro here. It calls for a 1/2 cup. So we're gonna see how many cups are in 1 bunch of cilantro. I did get 3 just in case. If we don't use them all, that's okay, because like I said, my Isabella loves to use it when she makes us tacos or carnitas. Okay, so I'm just trying to make it just a little smaller to put in there. Smells wonderful. I can't wait to use this salsa. I can't wait to try it. We do like salsa in our family. Normally I just make regular salsa, just the traditional, but have all this corn I got. Okay. All right, that looks good. So let's see how much we got here for 1 bunch, and that'll help you when you guys make yours. So I need 2 cups total for me, but you guys are only gonna need a 1/2 cup. So it looks like 1 bunch is 2 cups. Well, let me push it down a little bit. Let's see, hold on. All right, so push down a little bit. Looks like it's about 1 cup. So you're gonna need 2 bunches of cilantro if you're quadrupling yours, but if you're not, 1/2 bunch of cilantro, and that'll give you your 1/2 cup. The very last thing, look at this. It is super close to the top. Oh man, I think I'm gonna make it, I don't know. So I do have my peppers. It's just 1 jalapeno pepper, and I'm gonna do 4 because of course I quadrupled my recipe. Make sure you take the seeds out. I just hear that like a lot of the heat is in the seeds. I don't really know. But just cutting them, and over there I was kind of emptying them out with a spoon. It was kind of taking my breath away. So, whew. Salsa's wonderful, but man, you gotta really be strong to cut onions and cut jalapeno peppers. And so yeah, so I'm just gonna cut these thin. My husband's home. He's sitting on the porch. He's taking a little break. They are doing really good on the church. They have I think the roof is shingled, and my boys went over there and helped him. I was very thankful for that. Yeah, so they all came home a little early. I thought I had time to make dinner, but so he had some snacks. But I'm almost done with this. Then I'm gonna start dinner, and you guys get like a twofer because you're gonna get to see me put this together, and then you're gonna get to see my budget meal, where I'm really excited about. I'm really, really, really enjoying that whole series because it really just challenges me to try and create a meal for our big family. And I understand a lot of people are like, well, that's not a budget. That would cost a lot for our family. But you can also divide it in half. You can have leftovers. You can save it, you know, like the lasagna I made. That it was like $48 for that lasagna. And for our family, that was a great deal. because there is so many of us, and I have, you know, 6 grown boys that are just like eaters. But you know, you could do is you could make it like the one I'm gonna make today. Like you can make it in 2 different containers, and then you can eat one and then eat the one another time. So, all right, this is it. The peppers are on, and now we're gonna start adding everything else. And make sure you wash your hands really good. Try not to touch anything. Don't wipe your eyes, because that would be really bad. All right, peppers are done. Some of my family likes spicy stuff, some of us doesn't. So I thought about adding more peppers, but I think I'm not going to. Okay, I'm gonna go get my hands cleaned up, and then we're gonna start adding the spices. I don't know how I'm gonna stir this. I think this is the biggest one I have. I might have a bigger one. I don't know. This is pretty big. All right, we'll be back. Now it's time to add all of our spices. I'm gonna start with the dry spices first. So it calls for 1 tablespoon of cumin. But of course, I am quadrupling mine. It's 1 tablespoon of garlic salt. This one's mixed with parsley, and I don't think it's not a big deal. And 1 tablespoon of regular salt. I find when you make salsas, you really do need lots of salt. It's a 1/2 tablespoon of black pepper, so only 2 tablespoons for me. 1/2 tablespoon of paprika, which is 2 tablespoons for me. And then for limes, it's the juice of 1 lime, which equals 2 tablespoons of juice. And I love lime juice. So I'm gonna have to do 8. It calls for 8 cloves of garlic, and so 3 cloves of garlic is 1 tablespoon, so it's 3 tablespoons of garlic. Or 2 tablespoons, but I'm gonna need lots, so. Now, next up, the last thing to do is add the apple cider vinegar. So let me get my spices put away. Oh, it smells so good. And then we'll finish it up with that, and then you guys get to watch me stir it. Oh, keep your fingers. It calls for 1.5 to 1 cup of apple cider vinegar. I'm gonna go more toward the 1 cup because I did add extra corn and I did add extra black beans. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do the 1 cup, which would be 4 for me. Just gonna pour this in. And you use apple cider vinegar in relishes, any kind of relish that you make. All right. So as it's sitting overnight, it's going to start making its own juices. So that's why you don't need a lot of juice. Oh, we'll see how this goes, right? I gotta be really careful. There we go. Let's just start bringing it up and stirring it up. Oh my goodness. Flies are crazy around here. Get to those tomatoes. So far, so good. You guys are like, she's gonna blow it. She's gonna blow it. Yeah, as it sits overnight, it's gonna settle. Things are gonna soften a little more. It's gonna have its own juices because of the tomatoes, because of the peppers, because of the different veggies we have in here. And then I did keep the juices from the black beans because I want that. I want it to thicken a little bit. The one bad thing about gardening is when you start picking all your garden and bringing it in, you get those like little fruit flies and they're flying all over my face. You guys can't see them because they're so tiny, but they love the tomatoes. Hey, are you guys impressed or what? This is heavy. I ain't gonna be able to take this downstairs. My kids are gonna have to take this downstairs for me. I'm gonna get those spices kind of mixed in there. Oh, it smells so yummy, you guys. Now, if you want yours a little thicker, you can add tomato paste if you want, or a can of tomato sauce. You could probably get away with, you know, maybe a smaller can if you're making 1 batch, or maybe just a can of tomato paste if you're making 1 batch. All right, it's going good. Okay, I'm gonna continue doing this. Okay, here's what it looks. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? Oh my goodness, I can't take it. My family's gonna love it. All right, so now it's time to put it in the refrigerator overnight so these juices can all work together. Let it settle, and then I'm gonna come back tomorrow or the next day, hopefully tomorrow, and I'm gonna get this canned up with the corn. So you guys are gonna see that. So, all right, well, thank you for joining me for this part of making corn salsa. I'll put the recipe in the description, and then we're gonna come back on the next video because canning takes so long. Do you guys wanna sit here for hours and watch me can? If you say yes, thank you so much, I love you. But yeah, so thank you for joining me on this part. Don't forget to subscribe to Just the Bells 10. Come back for part 2 when we're gonna put it into our jars, can this, and can the corn salsa. And I think on the next video, I'm gonna taste test it. And that's the thing too with salsa. After you get done making it and you let it set, taste it because you might need more lime juice or maybe some more garlic salt, or maybe you need something because it's too hot and you wanna add little tomatoes, you know, and so you always wanna try it before you can it or serve it because you might have to tweak a little bit, you know? So yeah, well, thank you so much. And it smells wonderful, you guys. Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.